This is Teachers Talk Radio, and you are listening live.
Well, last week we dived into one of my favourite topics, how to reward students effectively, fairly and creatively without spending a penny. We looked at fairness, effort-based recognition, point systems and those small gestures that make a big impact. Well, tonight we're carrying on that conversation with a very special guest, Paul, a primary school teacher who will be joining us to share his insights into what rewarding looks like at the early stages of education.
This is Teachers Talk Radio, and you are listening live. Tune in live at ttradio.org, or to join in the conversation, download the Podbean app and search Teachers Talk Radio. Follow the hashtag TTRadio. Tune in, talk it out with Teachers Talk Radio.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Late Late Show with me, Chris Wilkinson. And I'm delighted you can join me tonight. Now, if you caught last week's show, you'll know that we talked about the start of term, the buzz of new classes, and how we reward students in the ways that are fair and motivating. We dug into classrooms and questions about classrooms and questions about the fairness of classrooms, effort versus outcome, and even some creative free ideas to reward our students. Well, tonight I'm thrilled to say that I'm not going solo, and I'm joined by Paul, a primary school teacher, who'll help us see all of these ideas played out in the primary school setting. And because let's be honest, rewarding a two-year-old, someone in year 2 is not quite the same as motivating someone in year 12 or 13. But actually, you might find that there's some similarities, and there may be more similarities than we think. So, Paul, welcome to the show.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having us on.
How are we doing? You all right?
Yes, all good. Yeah, been looking forward to this.
Oh, brilliant. I know we spoke off air a moment ago, but, let's just pretend we never for a moment. So how's things going? Is start of term going well?
Yeah, year 3-4 class, 1 or 2 new faces, 1 or 2 old faces, and getting used to the little relationships that they have with each other.
Yeah.
And still getting used to it at the moment.
Yeah. Now, I don't know much about primary school. I can't profess to, but my daughter is going through reception at the moment, so she's sort of starting off her journey into primary school, and it's interesting when you say about the immediately say about the groups there, because she had a friend who she was in school nursery with, and she's sort of done that, but she's gone through the process now, but it's almost like the dynamics have been broken up since then, and she's off with new friends now, and it's as a parent, it's really exciting to see groups performing, and then we get to speak to new parents and all sorts. So it's really interesting, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Got its challenges, but sometimes it can work out nicely.
Absolutely. So, I mean, just to kick things off, really, just with regards to rewarding students, I guess you don't call them students, you'll call them pupils, dear.
I call them lots of things, to be honest, but not on this show.
But I mean, we call, like I say, we call them students, but obviously people call them all sorts of things. But how important do you think it is to get these rewards right at the primary stage, when children are just beginning to form their attitudes towards school and learning?
Well, everyone's got a motivation, haven't they, wherever it is. What we tend to forget when we get older is the worth of something that when we're older we don't think is worthy anymore. So it kind of evolves, doesn't it, over our ages, really. And if you talk to a child in reception, something innocuous, something completely sort of benign to us as adults is the be all and end all, and it's finding out what those little things are.
Yeah, and I guess you get school leaders who will probably try to find that with their staff as well. And you're right; it's kind of whatever level you're at, whatever sort of position you are in within education, the likelihood is that you're going to want to try and tap into whatever, kicks people on, and what really makes them do well and get the best out of them. And I guess that's if you like, that's the connection that we can find, whether it's year 2 or year 12, that you just got to find that thing that suggests that we know they're doing well, but at the same time that they're going to thrive from that, aren't they? So
exactly, stickers, basically stickers for everybody. Good night. That's it.
Nice to have you on the show. Take care.
Thank you very much.
I agree though. I think stickers are a big thing, and for this year, for the first time, what was one of my colleagues, she basically ordered loads of these feedback stamps and said, she put one on every table and said, just use them this year. And it's just basically, it's one of those stamps that says verbal feedback given. But by doing so, it's like we validate what they're saying, and they love it as well. Like, so stickers, stamps, definitely. Them sort of things are definitely good to go, really. And you're right, at any level, that's great. My daughter loves stickers, by the way. So my wife's she's into a stationery, and she basically has stickers that she's basically got adult stickers that she puts in her adult sort of planning book and whatever. And my daughter's basically she's got them now, and she says every night she'll say, if I put my pajamas on without any problem, can you please give me a sticker, please, Mum or Dad? And we're like, yeah, absolutely. There's a sticker, bam, done. So she's going to get stickers until she's however old, and that's going to be the case.
Forever, I think.
Yeah. But I mean, of course, last week we did talk about fairness, didn't we? And last time we talked about fairness and sort of making sure the rewards don't just go to the loudest voices or the sort of naturally talented, but those who show things like perseverance, resilience and growth. And I guess for year 3s and year 4s, that sort of perseverance, resilience and growth is things like, I'm just presuming, you didn't quite get your times tables right this time, give it another go until you get it right, or something, remotely like that, is it?
Yeah, exactly. And the motivation, some of the motivations might be similar, but the reasons for giving is going to be varied as well. Like you say, someone it might be times tables, but like sort of tongue-in-cheek comment that I made last time was, you didn't really hurt anyone today, so well done. Yeah. So every child is different, as we are often told.
But that you didn't hurt someone, even if it was tongue-in-cheek. I mean, there really is kids that are really gonna, be like that, and we're going to say to them, look, if you behave yourself today, we'll give you something. And for them, that's a huge thing, isn't it? Because if it's a behavioural problem, they can, we've almost incentivized them not having that behavioural problem by giving them a sticker or something. So you're right. Even if it was tongue in cheek, you still got that, haven't you? You still got that. That them kids who are going to need to. Is as basic as that, really, isn't it?
It is. Well, let's get back to that thing of what matters to them.
Yeah.
And I think anyone in sort of SEND or one-to-one provision will be saying little wins. Every little win is massive, really. Especially if you're trying to get children back on track to what is supposedly the norm.
Absolutely. And, I shared some thoughts on things like focusing on effort, being transparent with the criteria, and recognising, as we've said, the individual journey. And I think that's just as relevant, if not so more, in primary school. And how are you transparent with, because year 3, 4, what's that? 7, 8?
7 to 9 year olds. Yeah.
I mean, how are you transparent with them? Can you be? Or because I mean, with my lot, it's quite simple. You go, look, this is the plan for today. Those who meet the criteria, you're going to get rewarded. If you don't meet the criteria, put effort in, you'll be rewarded. And it's you can talk to obviously 16, 17-year-olds, but is that transparency there with 17, 9-year-olds? Yeah,
I think. I mean, kids, especially if it's something they want, they will notice. And they'll. There's a lot of children. There's a lot of children I've found, particularly boys, who justice is a big thing, fairness is a huge thing, and they may not always agree with what is fair or just, but they'll certainly spot something. If you've said this is the process and this is what you get for doing something, and then you go against that, they will spot it.
Yes.
And they'll snitch on you straight away.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So it's and also you've got to give yourself a little bit. You've got to build that integrity as well. You can't go back on your word to the children if you've put that carrot in front of them and they get there. You can't then take that carrot away.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right to use the word fairness. And again, I can only relate to my daughter, who's a lot younger than 7, but she'll know when it's fair and when it's not, and they'll call you on it, won't they? And they'll say, you say, this is not fair, or you don't do that. That's not fair, or anything along them lines. And I think, do you find that when you're at that point where they call you on it being unfair, and I'm guessing you've been in that position by making a mistake once or twice about what you've done, do you feel like you've lost them at that point, or is there a way to get them back?
No, I never make mistakes, Chris. Never ever.
Oh, well, that's all right. But your pearls of wisdom, then.
But the thing is, in doing these things, that's how you're teaching them.
Yes.
Socially, it's if this is the case, if this is the case that we've agreed, if this is the class charter or the set of rules that we've both agreed and you're going to follow, then you've got to show them that you follow it as well. And it's the civilized, social, accepting thing to do. If you go back on it when you've laid that out, then you lose credibility, you lose trust. I mean, there are going to be plenty of times that the children are going to get it wrong and they'll believe something, it's not my fault or I should get this, when you clearly know that's not the case. And you've got to call them out on those times as well. So it's sending them through that journey of what are these social norms, because we make agreements all the time, everybody all the time, every day through life. In the shop, you get your things from the shelves and you go to the checkout and then you pay for your money, pay with your money and then you go. If it's anything different, then people are going to be called out on it, and bring it all the way back down to the little ones. That's I tell you what, it's more so in reception.
Yeah.
But as they get older, it just evolves into different things and different lessons.
Have you taught at every year group then in primary school? Or have you always been quite specific? You have, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes.
No, well, sometimes it was placement. Sometimes it was supply. But with all of the 17 years so far and 17 to go, I've managed
specifically 17.
Oh my God, yeah. So I've managed to pop into every year group now and then.
Oh, good, that's great. And obviously there will be a difference because there's a massive gulf between year reception and year 6, of course. But what's the sweet spot for you? Where's the best year, do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm probably in it, to be honest. I've done year 3, 4, year 3 quite a few times.
Yeah.
There's a nice kind of not relaxation is probably the wrong word to use, but from the intensity of year 2 SATs, and then the gap is to year 6 SATs at the moment where we are in our whole education journey. Year 3 falls a little bit more enjoyable in that respect. They still got the assessments and there's still targets and this, that and the other, but as a teacher you don't have the assessment monster sort of breathing down your neck, you can enjoy it a bit more.
It's interesting that, because for me, I mean, there's only 2 years at A level for obviously AS and A2 or year 12, year 13, whatever whatever schools are familiar with, and I think the sweet spot is November of the first year. I've always said that, specifically November of the first year. And it kind of correlates with what you're saying about year 3. It's like they're not new. So, now at the moment, you're still, we're still creating first impressions, and we're still making sure that the relationships are going to last as long as they are. So I'm not over rewarding them. I'm not being too harsh. The whole phrase of "don't smile until Christmas." There's none of that. But I'm also not being overly, I probably am being overly nice because I'm naturally sort of overly nice. But at the same time, I'm not being a pushover. And like it takes 6 weeks normally for the sort of boundaries to be fixed and set, and it's normally after the October half term, that term between October and December. Like Christmas it's great. I love that time of year because there's all sorts of going on in the school. There's a bit of a buzz. There's a bit of and they're not new, but you've cracked that relationship and you know where everyone is, and it's perfect. And it's almost like year 3 on a sort of bigger scale. It's like that for you, isn't it? And
and I can imagine that as well. I mean, you've got to, like you say, you've got to build those relationships. I've been.
Oops, sorry, my apologies. That's the wrong button there. My apologies.
I was going to say, I've been rubbish every year. I've been teaching, doing the whole no smiling until Christmas. It's just not in me to do that, and
no, it's not.
And particularly in primary, when you've got kids turning from infants to juniors, they're a little bit nervous. The classroom changes what it looks like. They're not so much in groups all the time anymore. There's a little bit more responsibility and things like that. So they almost need a smiling face,
of course,
as they go in the classroom. Absolutely. So I've never been able to master the grizzly face or the frown.
No. I think I've been even nicer this year actually, because with my daughter going to school for the first time, you could see how nervous she is going into the school, and just how just how much of a big step it is. And the teachers on the other end have just been unbelievable with her. Like they've just taken her so well. And I'm now just thinking, well, obviously the kids who've come to my group, they're coming from normally like a school where they've got a big friendship group, and some of them are coming in for the first time, and they're stepping foot through the door. And what do they want to see? A grizzly face, as you say. And last year in particular, actually, you would think last year what I did, you'd think I was doing it I was teaching for the first time with what I did, because it was absolutely dreadful what I did. A student came in late, and I don't know why, Paul, because it's not in my nature to be like this, but I just went in front of everyone, "You're late," and it was that like sort of tone. And he cried. He left crying, and like I followed him out, because you think, oh God, I didn't, I was just trying to set the tone of but obviously I've gone too far. And he was me in the corridor, he's got his head in his hands, crying his eyes out. And honestly, I'm like, oh my God. And like that stays with me even now. I mean, it was only a year ago, but it was as if I was a newbie trying to, I got it all wrong. And I just thought, oh my God, that's him just starting here for the first time, and that's me doing it to him. He actually ended up dropping my A level because of it.
Oh, no.
It was awful. And honestly, Paul, in the years I've done teaching, I've never ever done or ever been. That's the only time, and it was last year, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So. And I actually don't think I was that harsh with her. I must have been, clearly, because his reaction was probably right, if that's what I was like with him. So I find that this year in particular, I'm probably doubling down on my niceness, even though naturally I am anyway. And of course, it's trying to make sure that everybody is there for you, which is true. I've got a question to pose to you, Paul. We're just going to take a quick break, but I just want to ask you this, and it might be a bit of a controversial question. So I don't mean to put you on the spot or anything, but do you find that because this is, I'm speaking from experience here, but do you find that being rewarding and being nice is something that you have to work harder for, being a man?
There's lots of different contexts and situations.
The reason I ask for, because I find that my female colleagues, and there's more female colleagues than male, probably the same for you in primary school, but they're just so naturally more, so much naturally more nicer than I am, and like I don't know if it's not because necessarily they're female, but they're just nicer, like just generally, like they'll always get each other's gifts when it's the birthdays and things like that. It's always really nice, and I'm thinking, I always make an effort to be nice to the students, but am I naturally nice? So do I have to work harder to bring that out? I didn't know if it was just a me thing or if it was a man thing, really. I don't know.
I'd tell you the presents thing is a man and woman thing.
Do you think? Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
I mean, I can remember some birthdays, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as soon as it comes to buying the actual presents, that's not my area of expertise. And
No.
me and my wife have got lots of friends who we've got long history with, went college with, all that sort of stuff. They've all got kids. I can't remember all them children's names.
No.
I remember kids' names from classes I taught 10 years ago, 15 years ago, more than I remember the names of my friends' children, to be honest. But that's a man's thing, so don't feel too bad.
It's just also because at the end of the year, like my sort of female colleagues, they always get these lots of gifts off the students, and look, it's not about gifts. We understand that, but you think, oh, they must just really click and connect and really get involved, and so I'm just thinking, do I need to work harder with that? And do I need to reward more when I see it more? And this is what's prompted all this, really. Because, like I said, I'm naturally nice and we get on with the students. We always have a laugh and a good time. But there just seems to be more of a connection sometimes between them. And I'm just wondering if that's, again, just a me thing. And you're right, what you're saying. It's kind of like, maybe there is a natural inclination to remember birthdays more and things like that from
Yeah, I mean, I think you just need to drop more hints.
Yeah,
is the first thing.
Yeah.
I was on my NQT year, Belvale Primary. Actually, anyone knows it? Lovely little school in Gattaca in Liverpool. A hell of an estate there. Lots of challenges, and it was. I think it was the end of the year, and I'd had a lovely year. It was a year 2 class. It was only a small class, about 18 children. And one child at the end of the year gave me a 24-pack of Fosters. So, wow. I mean, so what more could I do than name my first child after it?
Yeah.
Which is exactly what I did. It was sheer coincidence. So
well,
I've told the wife anyway, it's sheer coincidence anyway.
No, that's good, yeah. So I'm thinking about doing things, like that again this year, like Secret Santa and stuff like that. But I'm not forcing it. Look, I'm just saying, like, I think my colleagues naturally just reward more when they see it. And I don't necessarily do that as much as I probably could do, which is, again, prompted this, which is why I'm sort of thinking, what more could I do? But organically as well, not forcing it, but just how can we perhaps maybe organically just form a bit of a connection more by doing that? I don't know. It's an interesting one anyway. I thought I'd ask, and I think we've avoided any controversy there, haven't we?
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah. Well, we've still got time, haven't we?
This time.
Yeah. So I'll take a quick break just to stick in a quick ad, and we'll see you on the other side.
At AQA, we work with the UK's largest teacher network to shape the future of assessment. With teachers for students, we ask questions today that matter tomorrow.
Get a head start on your fresh start with Bloomsbury Education. With 30% off all our books till the end of September, this back-to-school sale is your chance to stock up on CPD titles, classroom resource banks, lesson ideas, and practical solutions to every teacher's pain points. Browse titles on sale from the Like a Ninja series, The Week Junior, and Let's Talk Picture Books. Perfect for the new school year. From leadership to inclusivity and maths to mental health, Bloomsbury Education has books for every step of your teaching journey. Welcome back to school at bloomsbury.com/back-to-school sale.
Over 7,500 primary schools are already using Kapow Primary to boost confidence in teaching foundation subjects. Our expert-created curriculum planning, lessons and CPD are here to support and upskill you, whether you're a subject lead or classroom teacher. If you've got knowledge gaps in art, music, computing or beyond, we've got you covered. Head to kapowprimary.com and empower your teaching today.
This show is brought to you in partnership with John Catt Educational, publishers of professional development books and resources that support great teaching and learning in schools around the world. Don't miss out. Level up your professional development today and visit johncattbookshop.com to explore the full range of titles.
Ooh, welcome back to the Late Late Show with me, Chris Wilkinson, and here with Paul tonight as well. In our last segment, we revisited fairness in rewards, and so we just talked about something else last week as well, and just to get your thoughts on this as well, no pun intended, but just to get your 2 pence on this as well. How do we spend, how do we reward students without spending money? Because we explored public acknowledgement, leadership opportunities, notes at home, and letting students, for me, pick the music, because I put music on in the class, and I did a whole thing on, using music in the class, and that's going really well this year, actually, better than most years. But the research is clear that recognition is what really counts, but not prizes. So, what's the best free prize you've ever given, do you think, Paul?
Oh, the best free prize. Well, sort of in preparation, I did make a what eventually seemed like a huge list of rewards that I have done or I've heard of people doing, and thankfully, the vast majority are free, because it tends to be experience more than anything else. I mean, we use, like I mentioned last time, we use Class Dojo.
Yes.
So that's huge. The fact that you can just say to a child, here is this intangible thing that you can have, is so much easier, because it's immediate as well.
Yes.
It's just a case of, right, you have done this, bam, you've got it.
Yes.
And it's not a case of money taken out of your pocket or school's pocket or having to go somewhere to get this. It's literally immediate. And those kinds of platforms are really helpful, because the kids see it as well. They see the number of things that they've got. Boys in particular, apart from being competitive, love to count, and they love to count what they've got of something.
Oh, right.
And so it's ideal, because what they do is they'll compare with each other. Oh, I've nearly got 100 dojos. That means that I'm going to be able to go and get my dojo prize, and that's where your cost comes in a little bit, but not half as much as it would be out of your own pocket. So they'll go to the dojo cupboard when they're allowed, and they'll pick out some rubber or pencil or sharpener or bouncy ball, whatever it is. But that's made their absolute week, because they reached 100.
Yeah, I'm learning about dojo because my daughter uses dojo, so I don't know much about it, but I know enough to know that it exists and whatever. But I'm sure over time we'll learn it. But the thing is, in that situation, okay, fine, you are spending a little bit because it's out the school's budget, like rubbers and whatever else as well. But have you ever been tempted, or have you ever put money in your own pocket for stuff?
Oh, you're joking, aren't you? All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And then sometimes I have got carried away at times, because I'm thinking, well, back in the day when I first started, it would be, particularly Christmas, it would be, right, I'm going to buy all the kids a present, but then I've got 25 kids, and thinking, well, I'm not an M6 yet, so I can't exactly spend a fiver per kid or anything. So it would end up being the pound shop was an absolute treasure trove. And I think one year they were selling gold bars that were money boxes. So, so I bought 25, as you do when you go in the shop, when you're buying gifts for everyone and you bulk buy. Whoever the cashier says, "Oh, are you a teacher?" "Yeah, I am." "Yeah."
Yeah.
With 25 gold bar money boxes, or 25 massive, God, what would it be, hula hoops or frisbees or whatever it be. Yeah, resource centres are really good for that as well. So you will always. I don't know any teacher who's never spent any money on their class,
Yeah.
and it doesn't even have to be because of the lack of funding either. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes they'll just do it off their own back, and that's one of the traits or signals that you're a teacher in it.
Yes.
For the teaching's sake.
Yes.
That's the vocation. It's a vocation, isn't it?
It
and
is.
You think, oh well, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, but it is still a job. But you'll find yourself going past like the works or something like that, and thinking, "Oh, my class would really like that book."
Yeah.
Or that's that jigsaw with that kid who really likes Star Wars or dinosaurs or whatever it be. You're thinking, "Oh, should I spend a tenner on that?" And sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't. But it's the premise and the thought that enters your head, where you're thinking that would be a good reward and that would motivate those children, and that's where you are in that kind of scenario.
And if you're like, say, walking past the works with your wife, for example, would she just totally get it that you're going to go and spend money on that there and then?
Oh, she does all the time. But
yeah,
also as well, anyone who's gone out or married a teacher,
yeah,
you are in it, whether you realise it or not.
God. The reason I asked for is because my wife's a healthcare professional, so she's got nothing to do with teaching whatsoever.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter because while she doesn't get it, she gets it through me.
Yeah.
So it's a bit more, I guess it's a bit different really for me as such, because I wouldn't necessarily go to the pound shop and get things for my teenagers in that sense, because they probably wouldn't appreciate it because they know what the pound shop is. I mean, your kids might as well, of course, but they're not bothered about that. They just see sort of something that's instantly there that they're going to enjoy. And
yeah, but I can imagine though, if you're doing whatever the unit is that you're teaching, if there is something that really puts across or makes a point, or like I suppose like a wow moment.
Yes.
And it would be, you think, oh, that would be actually pretty good, but I'll have to do it out of my own pocket. You'll still do it.
Oh, good. Yeah. I mean, look, I've done all sorts over the years. I really have. But I think when it comes to individuals, the only time I tend to buy individual, because I tend to buy things like group wise. So I'll put my hand in my pocket for sweets at certain times of the year, or if it's because we have a lot of 18th birthdays in our school. So so whenever it's someone's 18th, we'll say, right, what do you want to do for it? And they'll have, I don't know, maybe get sometimes we've had a pizza or do this and that, and all that comes out of my pocket, obviously. So we have done things like that. Or when we do open days, whenever students come in. One student a couple of years ago, he just loved, and I probably shouldn't admit this now because it was about 10 years ago, so times were different then, Paul. So we're gonna, I'm just gonna put a bit of a quick provision inside that, just to say it was a other time, and he didn't want anything. I said, like, what do you want as a thank you, because he made a big effort at the open day, and he said, oh, Chris, all I really have is energy drinks. And I remember getting them it was like they're monsters, but there was like 4 of them taped like together at some, I think I got them, maybe it wasn't a pound shop, but I got them quite cheap, and I just give them like a 4-pack of monsters. And like I say, it was about 10 years ago. I mean, I guess we were aware of the problem with energy drinks then, but it wasn't as, I guess, as as open as it is now. And yeah, that's given that. It's probably the worst gift I've ever given, if I'm honest.
It wasn't a 4-pack of lager, though. You could always say that.
No, it wasn't. Definitely wasn't. I can categorically say there's none of that. And obviously, a lot of my students are 18, and sometimes if it's their 18th birthday, they will come in with gift bags full of drink because they've obviously got it in college. And there's no issue with that. Sometimes I'll say, look, I'll put it in the staff room until the end of until the end of the day, and then you can come and collect it or whatever. But stuff like that does happen because they're 18, obviously. But no, that's probably the worst gift I've ever given. I mean, it tends to be more. I mean, since then I've probably said, look, it's got to be something that maybe something edible or whatever, but something within reason. So, but yeah, that's the only time. And otherwise, it tends to be, I'll tend to get a prize that someone wins, like you said. So it'll be someone gets to win something or other. I tell you what, one of the gifts I give, and you'll not believe this, and it sounds a little bit. You wouldn't believe it because you think, what are you talking about? But sometimes what I'll do is, I don't know if you have, they used to be called overhead projectors, didn't they? But these days they're like visualizers instead.
Yeah.
Where you write on a piece of paper, but obviously they can see it on the board.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll whatever question we're doing, because I teach politics, so whatever the question is, it'll be something like what was the question? Even today we looked at to what extent conservatives libertarian. So basically I wrote out the first paragraph because I like to model what I do. So I modeled it and wrote out the paragraph. And basically, whoever produced the best answer so it was whoever, because we did like a Q&A, and whoever won the quiz got that sheet of paper with my model answer on, so they could use it as part of the homework or something. And honestly, they were like, so this is the new group. So I said, what was it? Whoever, because what's the prize if we win the quiz? You get this sheet. Oh, okay. Because obviously it's gold dust then, because they want to know how to model the perfect answer for A-level.
Well, you were almost like a valid ChatGPT there, weren't you?
Well, it is a cheat code, yeah. I mean, but teachers are a cheat code, aren't they? That's the point of teachers. We are cheat codes. So yeah, they went for it, they fell for it, and it was great. And that, I mean, I've just discovered that they actually want my work, basically, which is fair enough, So yeah, no, that sounds good. And I agree. We all spend money on it, and we never ever dare even go and claim expenses for it, do we? It's just not. It's just not something. And it's almost like, I mean, this is probably a really stupid question. You're probably just going to instantly say yes, but if you could claim expenses back for it, would you be regularly putting in your expenses to claim it back?
If it,
well, I'm only.
I mean, maybe I should have just said no, but schools aren't daft. Do you know what I mean? If you're going to get your expenses back, then you've got to fill out this form, and then you're going to have the receipt. And obviously, if you bought it on card, maybe it used to be that if you bought something on card that you couldn't claim expenses back, you had to pay cash, and then so they're not daft that way. But in the end, you don't seem to mind, because
I don't know.
It reflects back on you. Do you know what I mean? It's you want the kids at the end of the year to say, "Oh, I really love this year," and anyone who asks, any visitors who come round, "Oh, we love this and we love that." And you want parents obviously to feel the same way. And you might not always hear it, but it's your team, isn't it? I suppose it's the same as a manager of a sports team, football team, or whatever. They go above and beyond to make sure that their team is feeling good and feeling appreciated and rewarded in so many different ways. And that's what we are. We're a team, whatever class we've got. Because I tell you what, it's not just kids who are competitive, it's teachers. And when the attendance award comes round each week, or or someone gets a lot of praise in one particular class, it's a bit like, I wish that was my class. Or
of course,
I was going to do that idea, and then they've gone and done it for me. Or reception of one attendance award for the 7th week in a row. stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
I'll post a tail level result there, mock exam results there, and just like it's a big thing, yeah, because you think, oh god, that psychology's done well. I wish that was politics,
Isn't it? Yeah.
or vice versa, whatever. But yeah, no, that was like the model answer basically, Paul, because obviously, if you could claim it back, maybe you would, but it's a personal thing, and I agree. I think it's like you do it because you want to, and it's almost like it's from you. It's a gesture from you because you go on a journey with them, don't you? And you want them to know that you are there and you care, and part of that is putting your hand in your pocket and just giving them something that, whether it's a pound or whatever, that is from the heart, from you. And teaching, you can't. You're right. You can't teach without having that sort of vocational aspect to it that you just don't get in other jobs, really.
No, you can't because the conditions, I mean, every job's got its downside, but the conditions of teaching or any public service over the last 10, 15, even 20 years, you've got to put up with things. You've got to put up with situations. You've got to put up with budgets not being great or this, that, and the other. So you can't spend all your days, although one or two people might, complaining about your situation, because that'll then transfer onto the kids, and the kids will start moaning about this, that, and the other. And it's same as it's those memes where you have it's a picture of a parent who is saying, something in a speech bubble, or it's hate within a speech bubble, and then the picture of their child is next to them, and they're saying the exact same thing in a speech bubble because it's just learned behavior and it's what they hear. And I mean, I don't want to, everyone listening, I'm afraid, kids have ears, and no matter what you try to hide from them, they will hear something or they will pick up on things, and you can't avoid that. So if you're negative within your sort of everyday teaching experience, then they're going to be negative in their everyday pupil experience.
Yeah, indeed. Well, look, we're going to take a break again, Paul. This one's a bit longer because it's a news break. But we'll be back in several minutes for our last discussion, which talks about just what categories do you think are the best categories to consider at primary school level. So we'll be back very shortly.
At AQA, we work with the UK's largest teacher network to shape the future of assessment. With Teachers for Students, we ask questions today that matter tomorrow.
Get a head start on your fresh start with Bloomsbury Education. With 30% off all our books till the end of September, this back-to-school sale is your chance to stock up on CPD titles, classroom resource banks, lesson ideas, and practical solutions to every teacher's pain points. Browse titles on sale from the Like a Ninja series, The Week Junior, and Let's Talk Picture Books. Perfect for the new school year. From leadership to inclusivity and maths to mental health, Bloomsbury Education has books for every step of your teaching journey. Welcome back to school at bloomsbury.com/back-to-school sale.
Over 7,500 primary schools are already using Kapow Primary to boost confidence in teaching foundation subjects. Our expert-created curriculum planning, lessons and CPD are here to support and upskill you, whether you're a subject lead or classroom teacher. If you've got knowledge gaps in art, music, computing or beyond, we've got you covered. Head to kapowprimary.com and empower your teaching today.
This show is brought to you in partnership with John Catt Educational, publishers of professional development books and resources that support great teaching and learning in schools around the world. Don't miss out. Level up your professional development today and visit johncattbookshop.com to explore the full range of titles.
This is Teachers Talk Radio, and this is Teachers Talk Radio News.
Schools Week covers updated children missing education guidance, which it says encourages schools to take proactive action to help cut numbers and locate those most at risk. The Department for Education's new guidance says it is essential for poor attenders to be referred to the relevant local authority, and that if there are concerns about a child's safety, schools should take action without delay, and should consider a referral to children's social care or to police. The new guidance also says schools should do their own initial proactive work to locate a child at risk of CME before working with their council. Admissions of pupils should be timely, and where pupils do not attend for a first day, enquiries should begin immediately. Where grounds are met for a pupil to be removed from a school roll, it should be done immediately, not retrospectively. Meanwhile, The Guardian also focuses on attendance, this time making the link between missing school and poor mental health. The news site reports that research by Loughborough University and the Office for National Statistics suggests school absence significantly contributes to children's mental health, and the risks increase the longer the child is absent. In the conclusion to the study, the researchers say the more times a child is absent from school, the greater the probability that they will experience mental ill health. The study involved more than 1 million school-aged children in England, and it found the relationship's a two-way street, with children experiencing existent mental health problems more likely to take time off. The researchers said more work is needed to better understand the roles schools can play, as support for pupils such as free school meals, SEND support and other strategies reduce the risk of non-attendance. Further details about the research can be found on the Guardian News website in the Education section. The BBC News site focuses on the creation of the UK's first so-called super university, stretching across an entire region. It is to be created by the merger of the universities of Kent and Greenwich. Under the proposed name of London and South East University Group, the single institution will have one Vice-Chancellor from the academic year of autumn 2026. The Office for Students, England's higher education regulator, welcomed the move and said more universities may explore similar options as they battle economic challenges. Statistics show 40% of English universities could be in financial deficit. However, the University and College Union said there would almost certainly be redundancies as a result. The Department for Education said ministers welcome innovative approaches to issues. The merger is the first of its kind on a large scale, with a total number of students in the new institution reaching almost 50,000. Smaller mergers have happened within the University of the Highlands and Islands network. The Vice-Chancellors of both universities insisted the move was not a takeover and was a new model not driven by financial crisis. There will be no immediate job losses either. Further detail and more comments can be found online. Schools Week features on its news area of the website a handy guide to new ministers appointed to the Education Department in the latest Cabinet reshuffle. Education Secretary Bridget Phillipson kept her role, but it was all changed for Schools Minister, Children's Minister and Early Years Minister. Georgia Gould replaces Catherine McKinnell as Schools Minister, but newcomers Josh McAllister and Olivia Bailey had delayed announcements for their portfolios. The reshuffle comes as the department faces a busy term, with Ofsted announcing inspection reforms and a white paper due before Christmas. Full profiles of the 3 new members of Phillipson's team can be found online. Finally, the BBC Technology News site covers a story on cyber attacks on schools. It says the Information Commissioner's Office has issued a warning about what it calls a worrying trend of students hacking their own school or college IT systems, for fun or as part of a dare. It says school staff are failing to understand and recognise insider threat, and that data shows the majority of insider cyber attacks and data breaches, meaning they've been carried out by someone with access to internal systems, originate with students. The comments come amid a spate of high-profile cyber attacks on big businesses such as M&S and Jaguar Land Rover. Since 2022, the ICO has investigated 215 hacks and breaches from inside education settings and found 57% were carried out by children. Almost a third of these involve students guessing passwords or stealing details from teachers to log into systems. In one incident, a 7-year-old was referred to the National Crime Agency's Cyber Choices programme. In another incident, 3 Year 11 students unlawfully accessed school databases containing the personal information of over 1,400 students, simply to test their skills. Youth or teenage hackers have been arrested in the UK and US in the last year, and youth cybercrime culture is a growing threat. This has been Teachers Talk Radio News with Joe Fox.
Well, welcome back to the Late Late Show with me, Chris Wilkinson, and joined with me tonight is Paul. And last time we discussed different categories, such as what behaviours and achievements we actually choose to recognise. And we talked about effort, most improved contribution, consistency, that sort of thing as well. Now, that's in the context for me as older learners, but I wonder how this plays out in primary. And Paul, of the categories that you sort of think of when you reward learners, and some of it might be on the spot rather than necessarily have an open and sort of transparent discussion about what the categories are, but do you still focus on, as well as the things you said, do you find that, being kind is a big thing as well for you because of the age that they are? And I know you sort of mentioned earlier on, again, tongue in cheek around what you said about you haven't hit someone today or whatever. But like, did you actually just think genuinely that actually being kind, for example, is something that is a big skill to have for year sort of year 3 and year 4s?
Yeah, massive, because it's being kind's expected. Not getting into fights or arguments or violence or whatever. That is expected, and I think, and I can be honest really in the fact that I started teaching 17 years ago, and that it was very different then. It wasn't sort of rewarding children for things that are expected. So you come in, you sit down, you get on, you're not sort of talking over the teacher, you're not refusing to do something. It's, there's a standard, and that standard is expected from everyone, and that doesn't deserve a reward, or didn't deserve a reward back in the day. It was just expected. And I think what's happened over time is that back then it was reward and sanction.
Yes.
And what's happened over the last decade in particular is that sanction's a dirty word. You shouldn't be telling children, oh, you've lost this, or you're not going to get this because of that behavior or this, that, or the other. And it's like, in fact, if anything, I'm looking at my list that I made now of, on one side I've got rewarding learners, and on the other side I've got sanctions. And I wrote what looks like about 30 different ways of rewarding learners. But I could only think of what happens now, and there was 2 sanctions. If you can call one of them a sanction. So basically, the only thing that I think teachers have got in terms of sanction is to take minutes off a playtime.
Yes.
I can't think of any other, sort of official, certainly in a policy sanction, that teachers can use sort of on a regular basis. The other thing now, instead of sanction, is a reflection sheet, for example. So this incident has happened, and then the child, after being told this is not acceptable, loses play, has to fill in a reflection sheet, which is, what happened? What did you do?
Yeah.
Why did you do that? How did it make you feel? What would you do different next time? That that whole kind of thing. And so for people who are coming from teaching from 20 years ago to now, it's been a massive change.
Yeah.
And in terms of the rewarding, it can, you want to reward people who are doing good things on a regular basis. And sometimes what it seems to be now is that seems almost out in the ordinary. So, for example, 2 rewards that most schools, I would imagine, have, or a particular type, would be Star of the Week.
Yeah.
And we have achievement, and we have a values award. So, for example, behavior or responsibility or working with others, that kind of thing. And on a regular basis, I would choose someone, particularly for the values award, who consistently does the right things.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily do anything out of the ordinary, but teaches is with everyone in a nice way, treats everyone the way that they wish to be treated, that kind of thing. And that is a regular thing. And sometimes I look at the faces on some of the children in assembly when I do that, and they were like, well, what's that person done?
Yeah.
And actually it's because they're a nice person on a regular basis. They haven't done anything in particular. It's because they are setting the standard,
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked about particularly about kindness is just because I looked at my list and I thought what your list might be as well, and I saw a lot of similarities, like resilience and making an effort, and them things can relatable at any level. But I don't think I would ever sort of give a reward for kindness. I think that is purely a primary school thing. I mean, we could be wrong, but I mean, you talk about sanctions. Do you know what the biggest sanction is for us?
Oh, go on. I'd like to hear this. Go on.
Well, we withdraw them.
Right, okay.
I mean, that is and that does happen.
Yeah.
And it's not because they turn up and they don't do anything. It's because maybe we withdraw them on the recommendation that they go into another program because A-level might be too academic. Obviously, that's the last, we make it every effort with them. But, it comes to a point when the realism is there. Obviously, another one is if they don't attend, because attendance is our biggest problem. It's A-level. It's getting them to continuously engage when they've got loads of free periods to get them in. And so I was thinking about sanctions that we have, and ours is literally you withdraw them. That's the ultimate sanction, really. But what's the most regular thing that we reward for? Again, it's probably resilience and hard work. And I'm just thinking, I asked you kindness because I thought you would probably do that on a regular basis with your pupils as the age they are, and it's probably the one thing that we don't we don't do at our level.
Just because it's expected,
it's expected, yeah, it's absolutely expected, yeah. So I think that's probably the biggest difference between our points as well. Yeah.
What we say, a phrase, if you like, that's really been thrown around in our place is kids being caught. And so straight away that gets the attention of the kids. What do you mean someone's been caught? Being caught, being good.
Yes.
And that's the thing. I've just caught you being good. I've just caught you being kind. I've just caught you doing the right thing.
I like that.
And that can stick because often if you say, "Oh, you've been caught," straight away that's something bad.
Yeah. It would be, wouldn't it?
Turn it on a positive. It's
I wonder if I could do that at an A-level class. Oh, I've just caught you saying that because I use mini whiteboards all the time, and they go around and make points. I might just go, "I've just caught you. You've just got the right answer there." I like that. Do you know what? I'm going to make a point in tomorrow's first lesson because I've got first year's first thing tomorrow. I'm going to make a point of saying that. I'm going to say to them, "I've just caught you, giving me the right answer there."
Yeah, but I tell you what, don't tell them what it means first.
Oh,
you
right.
Say, okay. I've caught you. And then just look at the face, just look at their face going, "Oh God, what have I done? What have I done?"
I love that. I absolutely love it. And actually, I know who not to do with because I know them well enough now to think, "Oh, I don't want to put anybody in." But some that you can have a bit play about with. But But for the right, I like that. I'm gonna. Do you know what? That's my biggest takeaway from night. I've caught you. I've caught you giving me some really good advice there, Paul.
You're welcome.
Fair enough. Well, do you know what? That has just seemed to have flown by. But honestly, I could sit here for a lot longer. And it's always the way, isn't it? You've got a time frame to which to work in, and you end up just wishing you had an extra hour, really. But honestly, Paul, I really want to thank you so much for tonight. And I think because I could spend my entire career just sat in this bubble of 16 to 19 and never really reach out. And I mean, I might speak to people who work in schools who teach A levels as well as GCSE, but otherwise I could quite easily, not deliberately, but easily just spend my entire time just speaking to teachers at my level and never really reaching out to people from all different sectors. So it's been really, really eye-opening for me, and I might actually have to get some advice from you when my daughter starts playing up as well. So
you're very welcome. But education is a lifetime experience, so
it is.
It never stops.
And it's the greatest gift you can give anyone, isn't it? It really is. Well, please don't be a stranger, Paul. And I really wish you the best of luck for the year and for your team as well. I hope Everton has a great year.
Indeed. Good luck to Sunderland.
Do you know what? We're going to need it. I think we're going to need it.
Well, you'll be happy Newcastle lost tonight, so.
Yeah, yeah, they did, yeah. Well, I'm off to the Hill Dickinson, and I will be there because I'm going to make a point of going this year because been at Goodison loads of times, but I really love to go to new stadiums, so I'll make a point of going to Hill Dickinson this year. So yeah, and hopefully it'll be a nice happy hunting ground for us. Who knows?
Well, we'll see.
But thanks for everything tonight, and don't be a stranger, and please keep in touch. And if you ever want to visit the show again and do a follow up on any aspect of what you do, or if you just want a voice for primary school teachers, please feel free to use Teachers Talk Radio to do so.
Anytime. Cheers, Chris.
Well, that's all for tonight on Teachers Talk Radio. Thank you very much for tuning in. Until next time, take care, enjoy the rest of your week, and as always, happy teaching.
You've been listening to Teachers Talk Radio. Tune in live and listen back at ttradio.org. We look forward to hearing from you next time on Teachers Talk Radio.